What are we jamming on now? Jay, what's going on with more Hades, huh?
Definitely more Hades. I finally beat Kronos this time for the first time. So, however, as you know, defeating the boss in a game like this does not mean the game is ending. There's still more to do. So, but I was excited to finally get there because I've been feeling like I was kicking ass.
Always more loot crates. There's always more loot crates.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, but even with Hades, like with the original Hades, there was more to the story. Like you didn't get the true ending until more happened. Like you had to actually beat the boss a few more times for something else to happen, and then like there's a whole thing. So with this, yeah, I only beat him once, but it's Kronos. Like he's the time guy. They keep talking about how he just keeps coming back. So there's more to come, but I'm happy to do that because I've been steamrolling through this game, and I was starting to feel like, okay, even though they give you, spoiler alert, they give you kind of two different paths. So unlike Hades, there's one way to go. Hades 2, there's two ways you can go. So you're not just doing the same thing each time you run. So that's kind of nice to switch it up. But even with that, I was starting to feel like I was completing in-game objectives, mini trial kind of things, and like stomping creatures, and just feeling like, okay, I think I'm almost done with this game soon. It's got to end. And so kind of getting to the official first end felt good to let me know, like, okay, I'm on the right path. I do this a few more times, I'm probably done with this game because it's fun. Don't get me wrong, but I'm kind of getting done with it a little bit. After like one run, before I could do like 4 or 5 runs easy before I wanted to like turn it off and do something else. And now like a run or two, and I'm like, I'm done. Got to move on to something else. So.
I can very much relate to that idea.
I figured you would. I figured you'd be able to. But yeah, I gotta say, the next one I'm very surprised about. Gotta talk about it. Subnautica 2.
You've been playing?
And yeah, so
why don't I know this? Why did you not feel it's relative to tell me this?
I purposefully wanted to save it because there's so much to say, and I honestly didn't think this game would be for me. As much as you've talked about it and the reasons you like Subnautica, the original one, at length, like, are not the reasons I want to play games. And even some similar kind of games, I've kind of touched them and then been turned off. Like the whole being underwater the whole time, not regularly battling creatures, not being like a shooter.
Are you on fucking Blue Sky with one of those people bitching about not having weapons?
No, absolutely not. The funny thing is I've actually seen you talking to people about that stuff and just laughing about like, haha, that's why it's not for me. All of that said, as these things usually occur, Courtney, because as you know it's on Game Pass, said, hey, I want to try this game. This looks cool. So I said, and she said, hey, it's multiplayer. You get it too. What am I going to do? Say, no, of course not. So of course I download it and we're playing together. And after our first, 2-hour playthrough, the next night I'm like, all right, so we playing it again? Like, what are we doing? Are we getting back in? And yeah, I'm liking it so far. Just, I thought I would really hate being underwater, but I've gotten used to it. Like, I like exploring. I might have to reinstall the game because I somehow screwed up and like darkened my screen more during settings than I should have. Like, when they do that setting when you're first setting up, and it's like,
right.
make
go
this
to the
icon
settings and
barely
change
visible.
The gamma. I mean, that's not really, you don't have to restart.
I've tried it and it doesn't.
Really?
There's like no option to. I don't know. Either way, I got to figure that out because I look at Courtney's screen and when she goes underwater, she can still see things. It looks cool. I go underwater and I feel like what I imagined it to be, just darkness outside of like the luminescent.
Do you have lights on, Jay? There are lights that you turn on and off on your everything, your vehicles, everything.
Well, regardless, it is terrifying and it makes me, so I'm less inclined to go spelunking in the deep dark, at this point. But yeah, it's fun, man. I'm scanning everything. I'm looking to find things. It's like, where the fuck is silver? We got to where we got to find this. Yeah, it's good though. I'm pleasantly surprised.
Okay, well, I wasn't. I mean, I don't know. I was, because this is in my shit too. It's behind me. I have a lot to say. I have so many questions though.
Ask your questions. Let's get into it.
So,
we don't have to follow the same format, Josh.
Right? Yeah, we don't have to follow the Word document. That's correct. But yeah, that's right. We're armed and dangerous. Anybody can bang with us. It's hard to. It's not one of the things I love about it. Actually, is there's not really fucking whatever. There's not fence posts or signposts rather of like
we're not deep. We're not deep into it yet. Like we've just started building our own base.
Okay.
So
well, that doesn't mean anything.
We were going out before. We were going out before just.
In fact, I probably didn't build. I didn't build my. I mean, I guess I built a base. That's not true. So you're saying just like your starter base, just buy the life pod, I presume. Right?
Yeah, we're just like going back and forth from that life pod, trying to get enough stuff to put on flippers and get a bigger tank or whatever, those little.
Yeah, you're just. It's funny.
Baby steps, Josh.
Right, you're like a Subnautica head. Is here would hear I obviously am, and I'm hearing these words, and like the way you're describing the game loop is what you're describing, and like you don't know that it's your game loop yet, and clearly not enough experience with it to know how just crushingly addicting it is. And but yeah, you're describing the game loop, the game, and then not that this is like incredibly novel, any survival game works this way for the most part. You're just trying to unlock the tools with which to explore further and do bigger, better things, right? So that is the game loop. But to hear it you say it in Subnautica, maybe it's just I'm enjoying hearing you say it in Subnautica vernacular,
right?
Is making me very happy. Yeah, flippers and air tanks. These are things you want. Yes. So just getting away from the base. It's like I'm trying to think. So, are you going out and doing the? What are they called? The black boxes? Are you going out and
finding those? And so what can we do here? Like that was actually one of the most exciting things because at first we were just kind of going and looking in caves and trying to grab what we could grab, that kind of thing.
That is also, and that's the biggest thing I have to say about it. Really is, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I had apprehensions about early access because of what it might do to the story experience. So much of the way the first game landed on me hinged on the unknown and like the development of that story while you're experiencing the game loop and how well intertwined that is, And my concern with an early access game am I going to hurt my long-term enjoyment of that story by
it's early access right now?
That's only early access. I mean, Jay, fuck. That's the biggest thing. Okay, whatever. Let's get into it. Let's just get into it. Let's just dive in, Jay. Yeah. So, I wasn't going to play this. I was like, I'm terrified of the early access and fucking up my experience, right? I was not going to get this. I also was not sure that it was going to be consumable in VR, which is critical for me. And clearly, I'm only going to play this in VR. So, I lasted maybe, it dropped on the 14th, right? I lasted maybe 2 days, and I see, like, I start seeing shit about the UEVR profile, like basically that injector thing that like turns just any fucking Unreal Engine game into a VR game, right? Yeah. So I start seeing shit about that, and that the profile is working just fine in VR. So I'm like, well, that's the big thing. Like, just and like at least for like starting it, like I'm like I don't need to, play the game. I just want to get in there and just, feel it in VR, right? That's fucking.
You just want to be whatever. There. You want to live in
just dip your just let it hit your lips a little bit. So like, but that's the big thing. So I see it's working VR, okay. So I'm like, all right, and then I jump on Steam and I see they're doing a bundle thing. So like, if you complete your Subnautica bundle, which essentially, or not essentially, it just means the first game, Sub-Zero, that essential DLC that kind of felt like a 2 at the time. And then if you have Subnautica 2, that's the bundle, right? Well, I already have the first 2, of course. So basically, it was a 10% discount to complete my bundle. So get it for $27. And I'm like, okay, $27. Like, I'm going to buy this eventually anyways. It's never going to be cheap. It's never going to be cheaper. I have a million games. I have like 11 fucking Resident Evils now sitting in my hard. I have all this backlog essentially I've created for myself.
That's right.
Why not add Subnautica to that now too? So I buy it on that basis. And Jay, I mean, first of all, the fact they're charging $30 in hindsight, the fact they're charging $30 for this is fucking insane. It's insane that they're only charging the $30 measly dollars for what they have given you here. But I get in, and I would say, honestly, I honestly feel this, Jay. I would say in like 11 minutes into my first play, I got $27 worth of experience. Like, it's the UEVR for the first time for me is just perfect. It's it's not perfect, I should say. There's like a little bit of the slightest hint of friction, but because they haven't figured out, or not figured out, they haven't made it yet. The full 60 OF, the full motion controls, basically. You know, you like. I mean, you're saying, I'm still just using my Oculus controllers, and you can use just an Xbox controller too. Some will do that when it's not motion controls yet, because what's the point of limiting yourself with the whatever? But I don't want to fucking dig around with that. So it's just that, and like you essentially have to like move your view, or not even your view really. You can still like look wherever, like VR, but the HUD is still like a screen. Including the mask, which is probably the shittiest part about it. You can still see the mask. And when you move this HUD, the mask goes with it. So you sometimes have like the nose bridge of the mask somewhere you don't want. So you're kind of moving, you're dicking around with that a little bit. And it's like a little bit of a thing. But like to be able to play it in VR with that. And like I can't not stress too. I said this when we talked about the first game. Like the first time I was able to just kind of fuck with it. And this was a very long time ago. But like the scale of that game in VR is so much bigger than it feels when you play it on a flat screen. And I mean, that's right, I think.
Really?
But because you're in an aquatic environment and like, it's already like sensory.
That would be terrifying.
It is. Exactly, Jay. Exactly. It's fucking terrifying. And that's the whole point, which you see me bitching about fucking this on Blue Sky, is like the whole point of Subnautica is the fear and the apprehension and the worry about not having the tools with which to survive in this alien environment that you do not belong in. Like, the point is vulnerability. And, like, the way the VR enhances that for this game in particular is great.
And for that reason, let me stop you right there. I will never play it in VR because the idea, it's terrifying.
I'll tell you right now, also, Jay, I'll tell you, this game is not, this one is not as bad as the first one, dude.
What? There's a hole, and I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at my air, and I'm looking at the blackness, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going down there. Right. And I'm on a flat screen. If you think I'm getting into VR, are you kidding me? I don't want to hurt my heart. I don't want to have a heart attack because of a video game.
So much better. That's the whole point, though, Jay. The immersion of it is, that's like just me. It's just the immersion of this game in particular, VR, is just on a whole other level relative to land lubbing.
Because on the flat screen, I think it's amazing the fact that I hated it and or the thought of it, and I still want to go play it after we're done. You know, so
okay, right. Okay, well, yeah. So that's like that gets me into it, and I started, I mean, I'm probably at this point, I would say, I don't know for sure. I'm of course not looking shit up, but I would guess. Right. I am like 95% of the way there on the early access content. I played like. It fucked up a little bit because I left it on one time when I wasn't playing, so it like increased my total. Okay. I can't just look at my counter on Steam, but my counter on Steam's at like 60 hours. I would say I'm probably at like 45 played, right? Wow. Which it doesn't take that long. Most of the like reviews and shit, people are getting it done in like 10 to 15 hours. I, of course, take my time. I am like doing everything very incrementally. I am like exploring. Of course, not looking anything up. I'm not in a hurry to finish the story, basically. So that slows me down immensely relative to whatever the content that's there. But even if you're just burning on it, I think the amount that is already there is incredible for the first wave of early access. And again, for the price point and everything. It's just like, I just am so blown away with how polished it is. I mean, have you had a single instance of like, where you felt the early accessness of it? I mean,
dude, yeah. when you said that, if I forgot until I remembered, like, oh yeah, it does say early access, but in my mind, that doesn't exist.
It feels like a completely polished game, right? Yeah. So, and like the thing is, I'm at the point where I've seen, and like even the way they do that, even the way they do the edge of what's been built so far is like well done. It's organic. It's within the confines of the like kind of story of the game. It's even that is like well thought out and done, right? So this is all to say,
nice.
Like I can just see, again, because of my experience with the first game, I can see, like very early on I could see this, that I didn't need to worry. That I was in good hands, right? Like, my big worry about the early access thing was that, again, it would get fucked up in some way, shape, or form. And that they wouldn't... And also, there was all the bullshit about, like, the developers getting all that... Yeah, right? So, like, did this corporation fuck the game up, you know? And no, man, it's imperfect. It's fine. Everything is fine. Nice. It's repeatable. What they've created is a flow chart that can work for this kind of game, I think, in a somewhat repeatable manner. It still takes care and effort and all that. But, like, dude, I'm, like, going through you said, you even said it. You've never played this game. You said I'm, like, going through my logs and shit. And the logs and the voice memos and shit, I laugh out loud constantly. And that was a big thing in the first game. Like, the comedy woven into the dystopian corporate comedy shit woven into that they just don't care about you and you are just a fucking number in the system to them is like so well done. And it's not tropey. It's not whatever. It's like it feels fresh and fun and well crafted and not bullshitty. And that, yeah, I mean, the PDA entries and shit are amazing. And like also incredibly science-based. Like one of the first things I watched was a marine biologist who happens to be a fucking video game nut too, and she did a video on like the biology from her perspective of the game, you know, or of this early access portion of it, and like her commendation of like the logical biology of so many of the ecosystems and the way the symbiotic nature of some of the animals, how they play off of each other, and you know there's a bunch of instances of it. I'm not going to try to fucking recall those right now. This is going to be long enough anyways. Like, but it's all that is very well done, and the science feels right and good and interesting, and like all that shit is woven into the PDA stuff so well and so fucking good. And back to the...
Wait a minute. For any parents who are listening, just check that. For any kids who want to get the game, this is signed off on by an actual scientist. By an actual
marine biologist, right, yeah.
So we're good.
Exactly. I'm saying, clearly, I mean, it's alien, though. There's no... It's not verifiable. It's just, does it make logical sense based on years of similar experience and training? And, like, that obviously is beautiful, of course. But getting back to the game loop thing, that black box shit. Like, so, in the first game... the way they did that same thing. And the whole purpose of it, and I'm sure this is not hard for you to see, is to get you out to places you're not going to go because you're terrified. So, absolutely. Like, it's always sending you to, like, a new place. It's always woven in a way to get you to check out a new biome or to go a little deeper or to go near a creature that when you first saw, you were like, fuck that! You know? So, like, that's always what that shit's about. It's not... I mean, if you know the system, you can see it, but it's well done enough where it doesn't feel just like another fucking signpost, but that's all it is. And then the first game, the way they did that was essentially the same thing, really. It just wasn't the individuals. It was a whole life pod, like the ship that crashed that you've probably seen a million pictures of from the first game, that spit out a bunch of live pods. You were just one of them, and it's the computer, your PDA, is sending you to the different life pods to try to like check on, see if the people are alive, basically.
Oh, okay.
And
that makes sense.
Yeah, the way the first game works, none of them are. So this is kind of just a comp to that. You know, it's known they're all dead. You know, you're just finding, like, have you? It's a completely different. They've done that so well too. They even found a way to make dying like story sensible. Like, have you gotten that yet? That like the biobed shit. So yeah,
I did not expect that. I was like, what?
Right. Okay. So yeah, they immediately like you immediately have your computer telling you to die to like try it out. You know, and like so that's interesting too. The way they've made dying frivolous. Where that, I think even that was like somewhat sacred in the first one, but in this one, it's just all the more expendable.
That's what I was going to say. I did not expect that at all. I thought for sure it was going to be like, if I die, I'm screwed. Like, I don't want to, there's this hardcore.
But you can't play that way. There is well, maybe not actually. I don't know that. The first one had a hardcore mode. I think it's got to have that. It has to have that as an option. I can't remember though off the top of my head. But yeah, maybe they don't. I don't know. Either way, like,
I was just shocked to be encouraged to die. Yeah, I was like, really? Right. Are you sure? I could just want to dive down in there? That
story, that part of the story for this game is a huge part of it, and it's so well woven into the whole fabric of everything you're doing. It's so good, and it's such a great, I don't know, upping of the, not the stakes, but the upping of the, I don't know, the comedy, the story world, whatever. It's really well done. That's going to keep developing so well. So be excited about that. But that whole thing of like pushing you to the next thing and like, do I have the tools to go there? And like you go like, oh, you get there and like, you know what? I don't think I have the tools for this, or at least not the tools I want. I'm going to go back and come back to this later. And like, you know, that story progression or that game progression loop is, again, I see that it's repeatable now, you know, and that it wasn't a fluke, and that made me so happy. You know, and like I could see that it was fucking, that I was in okay hands, and for that reason, I just off the deep end. All I've done, I haven't touched it. I mean, into the radius, I've been to the radius in weeks. I don't fucking, it's all I do is fucking Subnautica. I think, and like, dude, there are so many. I mean, the game is gorgeous. It's fucking beautiful. Like I already said that. And that's the thing too. Like, I'm looking at a VR version and like, it looks fine. But again, the mod is not, I mean, this mod was out, dude. And like I said, the last update I got, I think was the 16th. So 2 days later. I actually haven't checked because it's fine. Wow. And like, I'm actually worried about, because you just never know with this shit. I'm worried about like updating, fucking it up, you know, and I want to at least finish the story mode before I start trying to do that. So I haven't even tried to get any of the better versions, but I know I've seen people bitching that the stereoscopicness, which is essentially what turns it into VR, isn't perfect yet. And there's like, it could look visually better basically. So I'm not even looking at like the most polished version of the image, let alone, like I said, the full motion control thing. So like, I'm playing an incredibly stilted version probably compared to what it is going to become in the VR sense. And like, even now, I'm just overwhelmed with the beauty and like how amazing the fucking creatures look and how polished everything is. And there are so many moments, dude. I just love the way this game pushes you into doing the fucking science. Like, there have been so many times in that 45 hours or whatever where I have been sitting, and you don't even have it yet, but the little vehicle you get, it's this little fucking incredibly vulnerable sub thing that you fly around in, but it gives you depth access and access to air when you're down low, so you don't have to go to the surface, you know, which is obviously critical for exploration and doing the deeper shit. But there have been so many moments where I'm like sitting in that fucking thing with the fucking lights off and in the game, not real world, it doesn't matter, I'm in VR anyways, but sitting with the lights off in the fucking thing, the fucking not moving at all to attract attention, just going through my PDA in the game, like trying to figure out the solution for like the problem that I have, you know, and like that to me it's just so incredible that this game pushes you into that level of like problem solving and like, and it's amazing, dude. The answer, if you may not have it yet, I guess that's possible, but even if you like are good about reading, there's so much information flying at you all the time, and that's the cool thing about it too. I think that's like how it would be as a scientist. You're gonna have all this shit flying at you all the time, and like you can't process it all at one time. It's impossible. So yes, you save it, you log it, and like you can refer to it later and hopefully be able to zero in on the problem you have and associate that with the clues you've been given and the information you've divulged and like connect some dots and find a solution to your problem, right? And like this game is incredible at doing that. And like going through and I mean, some of the late story stuff, like right now, the last 5% or whatever I have, like I'm looking at some alien technology that I had to like, you gotta like unlock an ability. That's a cool thing. They've like changed your kind of development tree with some of that organic bullshit. You've gotten the first one because you're out of the fucking first thing, but like where you stuck your hand in that blue thing on the ship. So you'll get more of those. I was
so excited for that moment.
Yep. Okay, so you'll get. Have you gotten the second one out in the thing yet?
No, I think we've gotten that first one. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So there's more, and those.
But I know there has to be more because we're like, okay, we can't do this yet. We can't do that more. So
right. So yeah, those are like kind of your like base level bio. Objectives. Yeah, kind of objectives, but just gatekeeping things, really, that like give you an ability that like change the way you can either deal with or interact with this planet that you're on,
Right.
But there's also a story element to that's super interesting. Is like, is this good for me? Is like a kind of a moral quandary that you are presented in this development tree too, and that's really cool. But
interesting.
Yeah, man, it's fucking. It's just there's just so much science. It's just go ahead and fucking fight me about whatever peasant ass shooter one might think deserves to even be in the conversation with how great of a game this is. Like, get the fuck out of here. It is so fucking incredible. It's just a magnificent world they've fucking created. It's so fucking fun. And like some of the like later unlock some of the things. And like there's so much, dude. And even knowing the first game, there was a thing that I feel like actually I should tell you this. I feel like I guess a hair of a spoiler, but like you can get grow beds, like basically an ability to grow food at your base, so you don't have to go out and not even this is food. You grow things that you can process into materials, whether it be food or other building materials or whatever. So you can cultivate alien fucking flora to exploit, right? And like I knew that or I was surprised that I hadn't found that as late in the game as I was, and I got to the point I was like, I don't want to look anything up until I fucking finish the story. I don't want to and like I found again, I'm so far, and I know I'm right at the end because of, again, I just know. And I watched this video, it was like things you might have missed, and I was like, that's got to be just like early game dumb mechanic stuff. And I was right, for one, thankfully. But yeah, there's like simple shit that, again, not spoilery, I just think it's like within it's just opaquely buried in the game's mechanics, and they don't go out of their way to draw this stuff to you or draw your attention to this stuff because they want you to even like functionality of your built equipment. They want you to discover that. They don't want to lay at least all of it out to you, And there's a bunch of stuff with that tadpole. You don't have it yet, so I guess I'll wait on that stuff. But there's things about that tadpole that you can do, especially in multi, that's fucking amazing. That you just, at least maybe part of it is because I played the first game and these things weren't there. There wasn't a multiplayer component and some of this shit wasn't there. So I just kind of intuitively thought that the second game would follow closer in the footsteps in some ways than it has. And that's maybe just dumb on my part. But yeah, there were things about that I just, whatever. But yeah, the grow beds are a thing that you will find. I promise you will pass them. And like, it can look like, I know what they look like. They look just like they did in the first game, and I still went by them a million times. I could see them from my base. I watched this video, and I saw where they were at. I was like, I am fucking like inches from those. And I played 95% of this fucking early access game without that ability, which means I was out doing all this dumb busy work for so long that I did not have to do because I couldn't grow this shit in my base, So like, yeah, I could literally, dude, I swear to God, I could see the one out of my porthole when I turned the game on after I watched the video, and I went to go outside, and I looked out the door as I was walking towards it. I was like, I can see it, motherfucker. Like I literally had fucking been looking at this thing every time I left my base for like 20 some game hours, and I fucking or 20 some real world hours rather, and I fucking hadn't gotten. So there are fucking grow beds. Keep your eyes peeled because they're a huge part of like quality of life in the game. And even the guy in the video said he heard a lot of, the reason he put it in there was because he's heard a lot of people bitching about not having the grow beds. And for whatever reason, yeah, they must for some reason be, and I don't know why, because they're in a place that is a major POI and missing.
Well, that's kind of cool. If they don't have just everything out there you can see. You go like,
I told you that to begin with. This game is entirely predicated on like, again, the way that first one works. This one does it too, but it for some reason it's not as impactful. That first one, just maybe because I played the first game, maybe that's why it's not impactful. I don't know. Maybe you did feel this way when you walked out if you first see that tree and you first walk out of the life pod after you come up above water. I mean, that moment. Like the first game had that moment too, where like, you you wake up in the life pod after you knocked out. That's like their. It's funny that they did that too. That like the game starts with you getting knocked the fuck out in the life pod. Again, they found a way to do that without it feeling like the exact same thing. It was kind of funny, but yeah, in the first game, you like wake up from getting knocked out in your life pod as you crash land on the fucking planet, and then you can go out of the life pod in two ways. In the first time, you can either go out a porthole in the top that you have to open, or down through the thing in the bottom into the water. So you can first of all, you make a choice of how you first go into the world, and that was kind of cool. It kind of sucks that it didn't. Oh, you're already below water, I guess, for this, so it wouldn't have made sense. But whatever. So you could open the thing when you first opened the hatch. It took control of you for a second, and you had to watch these things that flew over the top of the life pod, and that's disorienting. And then you see the fucking huge crashed thing in front of your life pod, and it's the same kind of moment that you have with this, where you first come out and you see that tree, and it's kind of playing that music, and you're just taking the world in for the first time, a really cool moment, basically. A very, 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 very cool thing. And I don't even know what got me on that, but yeah, man. Oh my God. I haven't even tried the multi thing yet. I'm so glad you're playing. This it's the fucking, I kind of hate so much of the game, dude, is that unknown. And there is a cool element of being able to work with a team member and figure stuff out that way. But so much of the game's allure, I think, is sitting there alone with your PDA and being terrified of wherever you're at, and the isolation of that, I think, is so much of this game that Jab bought it, and I told him, I was like, you should play the game solo. He would want to do that anyways, I think, but play the game solo, and then once we both finish the story mode, jump in together and sandbox around and do cool shit together. But so much of the game experience is that isolation and being the only human being in this incredibly alien space, and that, I think, is a little bit lost with multiplayer tackling the story mode. So I'll tell you that kind of, I think you would be better served to play that game alone and then jump in together and fuck around. And I was alluding to also, I would love to do that once you've played the story mode too, because I clearly don't want to ruin that for you with my knowledge. So
that's one perspective. I don't know that I agree though. And I don't feel like I'm really missing anything, because the way, I would maybe feel differently if there were big creatures that we had to fight, and kind of a more traditional game. But the way that we have been playing together, and the way it's set up, it's not you still have to have your own, your objectives are still personal objectives. So we're playing together, I still have to build my own flippers and my own tank and my own everything. Sure.
But you go get that. You go get the material from the same place together, and
no. But I'm saying, but that's not even how we're playing. We're just going out together. We're talking, but we're going out. I'm not following her. There was only been one moment where we were let's try to go. Where she was I found this cave together, and this hole together. See if you can find me. I'm
okay.
I'm on the screen.
Well, that's good. So
you're
some of the
underground to me.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So to me, I'm you're underground to me. I'm not even going to try to attempt to find you because I don't have enough air. I'm scared.
It's funny. I think that's a great shining of the light on my lack of experience with lack of abrasion towards multiplayer. Is it didn't even occur to me that you would play the game and just exist in the world together and not be joined at the hip the whole time,
Yeah.
That did not even cross my mind.
Well, it's fair. It's fair to think like that, because every other game we've played together that's been an RPG, that's what we do. Because she's much more of I want to explore 100% of the map type of person. It typically ends up being, okay, I want to battle, you lead the way, I'll follow you, and then I'll take the enemies or whatever we're going to do. So typically, yes, that would be how we would play. But because this is not that type of game, that is not how we're playing. We're just going out. All right, let's try to find this. If we see something with the the black boxes where it's been oh, we need a battery. How do we find batteries? Oh, we got to make this thing. See if you can go find them. So then we're off out looking in our own way. So we're never.
You could
really
always
together.
Communicate. Does it have a? You don't say yeah like that. That was the cool thing I liked about the forest. Actually, the forest was cool. the multiplayer because you had the two-way radios. At least, again, if you did it the way the game wanted you to, or the way the game provided. You had these two-way radios that you had to literally have out, equipped essentially, in your hand, and hitting the button to speak. And to hear it, you had to have it out, basically. So, clearly, this is more advanced technologically, and it's not going to work exactly that way. But I was just curious whether there was like a distance possibility where like that communication would not function.
Oh, well, I wouldn't know because we're sitting next to each other on the couch. Like, we're not on a headset, so... you know what I mean?
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
Like, because our TVs
so
are
you turn your mics off, you can't even hear the in-game...
No, the sound is on, so we're not using our headsets or anything.
No, but I mean, sorry, the microphone, not the headsets. Okay.
Yeah, we're not using headset at all. It's just, yeah. So the only thing that even...
Yeah, I'd be curious, I guess, how that works then.
Yeah, even with that, it's fine because, like, she'll find something and, trigger some commentary happening, and I can ignore it if I'm, like, down in a cave, something, it can pique my interest, like, oh, what was that? I'll have to, take a look at that later kind of a thing, but... Yeah, I wouldn't know how
ping too.
You hit
that. There's a ping thing too. I noticed. You can actually ping. Oh. Yeah, you. So I don't know.
There's so much I don't know. There's so much that I don't know. I'm sure.
Yeah, I imagine it's not permanent, but I've definitely. There's definitely a. If I hit the stick twice, my right stick on fucking here, it drops like a little arrow thing for a second or for some period of time. So you can definitely ping for sure. And my guess is, I can't obviously see my own ping, I don't think, on my like HUD, but I'm guessing that when you ping like that, it becomes a HUD marker for however long it lasts, and you can just go to the marker, would be my guess. But
okay, I'm gonna have to check that out then. That's good to know.
I mean, the cool thing is because of the way water works, your Z axis rather is infinite also for the most part, obviously until you get to the surface. So a ping you can't always just go in a straight line to a ping is, I guess, the ultimate point. You know, maybe in a cave, if you went in whatever your straightest line to that ping is, it may put you in a parallel. There's just a lot of variables that make pinging less of a hack, I think, in this game than it might in many others. So that's interesting too for the multiplayer. But
for sure. But even that's what I mean. Like you can see that person's like icon, like their name, gamer tag. So I could see.
Oh, you can always see them anyway.
Yeah, but again, she said, "Hey, come find me." I tried to go there. To your point, I'm like, "You're underground to me. I don't know where your entrance was.
I don't know how you get there. Right?
I don't know where the nearest air bubble is, so I'm gonna go back this way."
Oh man. Okay. Well, yeah. Once you fucking guys finish the fucking story mode, let's jam because it's so, and like that part of it too. You've started fucking with the dude, but that game and that the leap in base building mechanics from the first game to this it's not even, you can't even have a conversation between the two. It's so much better and more advanced and more polished and more customizable and blah 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 blah. Like it's so much better and so fucking cool. And I've already seen some of the fucking structures psychopaths have built. Fucking the big thing is like the big leviathans. Which is funny, I did this too without being immersed in like the videos and stuff. I just like thought to do it in the first game. But that Reaper Leviathan 2 project I had when I first was playing the game, maybe on like PS4 or something, where like, yeah, because I remember doing it on the PS Network is where I was posting those videos. Like basically building a tube. It was Reaper Leviathan Tube Inc. is what I called it. And it was like basically just a tube from like a completely safe place all the way into this fucked up area just so I could where I knew this one Reaper was, just so I could watch it swim around from safety, Yeah. And like people are doing shit like that. They're building like wild ass bases that take them out right up to a certing place with a certain thing that you will find and be terrified of. And that's the thing too. Like clearly, this game's like big part of it's like, I don't know, hook is like how terrifying are the Leviathans in this world, and like they fucking nailed it. The two real major ones in particular are like absolutely terrifying. And when you first bump into them, and they do the music composition too is so well done that they kind of organically weave that into the gameplay in a way that's good and emotionally resonant without being whatever too much of a tip of the hat, you know. It's perfect too. So yeah, when you that first time you bump into that first one, you'll know it's something's happening and it can't be good. And it's all like your first introduction to something like that in this story world is going to be in a place that you do not have the sensory capability to know anything, basically. And just, again, the imposition of unknown in those moments is unrivaled in video games, in my opinion. And, like, yeah, your first experience with that thing, and, like, you're always too far into it. You can't just be like, oh, eject. Like, it's not like you don't have that as an option. So, like...
Can't just turn around and run away?
Right, yeah, well, you can try. You can try, but you're not going to feel good about that solution either. It's so fucking good, dude. It's so good. It's so fucking good. All I want to do is get off this podcast and play it right now. And again, I'm so close to the end. I came up with an idea. Like, yeah, I sit in the shower and think about, like, oh, what's the solution to this thing? And, like, you know, I think I have the thing I need. I think I unlocked the idea, at least, to what I need to be trying to explore to find the next step and maybe finish this story mode. So yeah, it's all I can think about.
Wow.
And I was working all day yesterday. I didn't get to play yesterday. Very upsetting.
Work getting in the way? Damn.
Yeah, awful. Life is awful. Yeah, man. Subnautica's good. Okay. Next topic. What, before we spend another hour on that, what, anything else or just Subnautica?
I mean, that was the main thing. I've been dipping my toe. I thought about bringing that in last, but I just really wanted to talk about it. But essentially, yeah, before we started diving into that, we started playing that other game from the co-op company, A Way Out, that did Split Fiction and the other game, co-op game. So the prison one.
That's one. Yeah, I played that forever ago. So yeah. So just because, you know, we've played the two newer ones. So Courtney was like, let's try the other one. I was like, well, okay. And yeah, not much to say about it because we've just started, but the beginning of this game is agonizing, man. You're getting into prison and every little detail, from the looks of other people when you're riding a bus to like getting stripped down and hosed in the shower slowly, is just agonizingly slow. And every detail, I'm like, man, I do not like this. Like, I hope we're getting out of here because this is, whoa, what a way to start this, you know? You just mean in like the thematic nature of it, or the actual like mechanical,
all of that,
clumsiness of it?
No, just the thematic nature of it, and just like the agonizing beginning. And I was just like, man, this is uncomfortable. Like, what are we doing here? So they definitely got some skills at that company for sure.
Yeah, I remember feeling, we got like a ways into that and kind of got off because it was just so railroaded. It was so railroaded, you know.
Yeah, I was surprised because, like, yeah, the later two games are so good, so well done, that I'm like, all right, we're going back to the beginning one. Probably not going to be as good, you know, just how these things usually work. But we'll see. I don't know how much we'll play that now that we have Subnautica 2, but we'll see. And then outside of that, yeah,
don't have to explain that to me, Jay.
And then, yeah, only one other game that I've been playing, another game on Game Pass, Terratech Legion. According to Steam, this is a chaotic bullet heaven builder. Build the ultimate battle vehicle, block by block, and survive waves of robotic foes, ramming them at speed and shooting infinite projectiles. So, similar game, you know, bullet hell kind of upgrading game like a Vampire Survivors and all those kind of games, but only you're building.
I saw isn't the sequel to that? Didn't that come out? Vampire Survivor. I think there's a sequel.
Oh yeah. There's Vampire Crawlers, which I downloaded, but it's solo, so I haven't actually played it yet. Because the kids and I loved Vampire Survivor, so I mainly got it so we could play together until I realized it's one player. So I'm like, I may still try it, but. Yeah, the Terratech Legion is fun because it's a little different take on it, you know, because you're getting the build, but the upgrades aren't really as exciting as I thought they would be, but still something fun to play from time to time. when I'm not playing Subnautica.
Bro. So much science. Okay, so that's it.
Science. That's it.
Okay, word. So the other shit I had, I've been playing. Amy's been gone for a couple weeks now for whatever 40th birthday trip. So all Subnautica for that. But before she left, we'd kind of gotten into a Civ kick. I've been playing quite a bit of Civ 7, and I got that Civ is like the different leaders and stuff. Like, I mean, they have done, and this new one takes even further. Like a really concerted effort to like create variance in the gameplay experience by giving each leader different tools and skills and special buildings, special units, different abilities that others might not have. They've like always tried to do that, or the past few games they've tried to do that, and like to varying degrees of success, I would say. This one's, again, all of them to the max that they've achieved that I think is present in this 7th installment, but I played as the pirate leader for a game. So I always just choose random. I don't know. It just exhausts me to like try to pick a leader. It's not that important, or I didn't think it was that important to me until now. And also, just it keeps from feeling too stale to try. Just don't do a new leader and like figure out some new problems and like a different way to approach in the minute way that maybe it changes the way you approach something outside of your normal fucking kind of flowchart. But yeah, I got threw in as the pirates. And whatever the fuck that guy's name is, and I could not believe how different of a game it was. It like the biggest thing, it took away your ability to you couldn't get settlers. Like you could not build a settler, which in Civ is like crazy, right? So
how do you play then?
Right. So what it does is it forces you to become militaristic very early on, and you can only. Your ships can take coastal cities and coastal city-state kind of things. So you have like a little bit more of like a capture capability early on, and you're like it kind of force feeds you naval units. But the other big thing it changes is your naval units can attack other naval units without prompting war. So you be like a pirate, right? So you become pirates. So like it's just completely changes the way you play the game. Now the thing is, you're still attacking the unit, and they still know who it is. It's not like your identity is masked or anything. So we're playing, and like the way we play, it's not confrontational. We don't really fight each other. We just kind of exist in the world and try to be diplomatic and whatever. We don't fight, right? But I am severely and she's gotten a little better too. I told you she's been Googling. She won that one game. She's getting better, and therefore we're more competitive a little bit maybe than we've been historically. And
okay.
And I'm playing as this thing where I'm severely handicapped in so many ways. I can't settle whatever. I have if I don't use. That's the thing. That's the trade-off basically. Is like these naval capabilities that I have are the trade-off to the limited expansion flow chart that I have available to me, right? So I have to use that or I'm like crippled, right? And like when you the really cool thing too is when you attack a ship, when you kill it, instead of killing it, you absorb the unit. You get the unit. So like you can expand your fucking navy crazy fast if you are aggressive, right? And that's how, again, you offset the limitations. So I start attacking her ships late in the game. And, dude, I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen her so angry.
Oh, no.
Dude, she was like a fucking toddler, dude. Like a fucking toddler. She closes her fucking laptop. She's like, I'm not playing. And she like gets all fucking pissed off.
What?
I'm like, I try to explain myself. I'm like, that's the way. First of all, it's Civ. First of all, it's Civ. Take a fucking breather or something. Fucking chill the fuck out. Yeah, she's like, and like, not only is she like not blaming, she's like pissed. She's like fucking pissed. like genuinely angry at me, and I'm like, it's the only fucking. It's like that's the fucking way I have to play that way. First of all, it's Civ, but also I have to play this way, or I'm completely handicapped. Like, fucking relax. And so super pissed off, and like whatever, she got a handle on her shit. But it was like fucking 8 minutes of me, like I was like, fine, fuck you, I'll just keep playing then. And like like I think that pissed her off even more, and that I was not gonna like whatever, I don't know what I was supposed to do, I don't know what the solution was, but that she preferred, but yeah, whatever. So she eventually logged, whatever, like, got back on it, we kept playing, she like fucking chilled out. But this all was a prompt for me to ask you, do you take it easy on Courtney when you play video games that are competitive, or how do you approach a competitive environment game? I feel like Courtney is a completely different beast also, so.
Yes, absolutely not, first of all, when it comes to that. So I guess it depends on the game. Like, she will not play something like even video game Monopoly because she's like, oh, you're too competitive, blah, blah, blah. But then we'll play other games like Trivial Pursuit Live, which like the whole game is to win. Like, so, you know, it is what it is. But then I guess the most close comparison is when we play Age of Empires or something.
All right.
Generally speaking, we will not, like, we'll try to be on the same team, the same side against the computer, so it's more diplomatic. But if there's a mode or whatever where it's just me versus you or a board game, like, no, absolutely not, because there's games where, like, certain board games, for whatever reason, she just won over and over and over, and it's just been a known thing. So I'm like, oh, absolutely fucking not. Well, you get zero kid gloves from
leniency.
Yeah.
Right.
None. When we're stepping in the arena, we're going.
Well, that's the interesting thing about Civ 7 is the way the ideology system works. You you don't have total autonomy or total agency over who you're going to even be allowed to align with. You know what I mean?
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, and especially because, like, you know, you pick a leader, but in each different age, you well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think you can choose that. You get different, like, you become a different civilization with a completely different set of sub-rules and ideologies and whatever. And, like, you just don't have control. At least it's not as easy to predict who you're going to be allied with, and, like, to really be deliberate in that. So, like, yeah, they're on top of the randomness with the other leaders, you might even, like, automatically butt heads with other player characters just based on ideologies, and it'd be a much bigger uphill climb to even try to be diplomatically coexistent, you know. So there, yeah, Civ does a good. This newer Civ forces you, I think, to be a little more impartial to just whatever than you'd want to be anyways, or than you're trying to be anyways. So that's an interesting thing about Civ. But yeah, okay, so there are things, but you've got to basically, I guess the way for me to process that answer is the only way you can be competitive without running a risk of a problem is if there's a known aptitude that she has in the thing that you're playing. Is that like the way to describe it?
Yeah, if we're playing a game that it's like a board game or something where it's clear it's me versus you, then it's go time. Like, there's not even a question. But generally speaking, the video games that we play together are generally cooperative. So, you know, except for like a Mario Kart or something like that, which I will say, and I didn't mention that with the Switch 2, we've been playing a lot of family Mario Kart World on there. And so with that, it started out, at least my idea was kind of like, okay, when we're all playing together, you know, hopefully we finish 1 through 4 or 1 through 3, depending on how many of us are playing. And once we're in those top spots, then we're good, you know, only use your weapons on the computer. But Zeke is not like that. So I've just been like, okay, all right, fine. I will take you out.
I'm going to light your ass up.
Yeah, I will light you. So I will dial it back depending on which of them I'm playing as well. Right. But okay. Otherwise, when it comes to Mario Kart, I'm more diplomatic, you know.
Oh, dude, it was so funny. And again, of course, that just pissed her off more. How funny I thought her losing her
naturally.
Shit was. Yeah, I was fucking. My face hurt. I was fucking smiling and laughing so hard because I took her fucking galleon or whatever. It was so fucking funny. It was so fucking funny, dude. It was so funny.
Love it.
Okay, well, so yeah, playing some Civ. I was, of course, still playing Into the Radius 2 up until Subnautica happening, and we'll get back to it. I've gotten pretty far in what I think is the story mode of that too, and I got night vision finally, or not finally, whatever. I got night vision, and holy shit, is that incredible and well done, dude! It like, I've said like going out at night, like I don't even think about it. Although this one less so than the first game, maybe just because my aptitude and experience with it is greater and more, and therefore less fear, which of course night only exacerbates, right? So even without this, I was getting a little more comfortable doing stuff at night, especially in areas that I felt comfortable, that I'd cleaned out a little bit, before the radius resets and da-da-da-da. But night vision, now it's just like, it's incredible. It's like, no matter what time it is, put that shit on, and like, it's fucking wild. It is. I just can't believe. I've seen the fucking footage and shit of like war that, like they obviously use this for fucking all the fucking videos you see of shit blowing up in wherever fucked up places. So like, I know this is probably pretty comparable to real life, but I just could not believe how game changing it was. It just like the first time I went out with it, I was like, holy fuck. It's just like, it completely changes the game in a way that was unfathomable to me until it was right in front of my eyes, So just very, very fucking cool. And yeah, made that the tactical approach to that game that I enjoy anyways, more so than just running gunning, it upped that significantly, and it's so fucking cool. And yeah, very fucking good. And like some of the late game missions, dude, I mean, I am out for like, they're you gotta like, you can't even do it within a radius loop. Some of them are like so involved and crazy, and there's this like the last whatever realm that opens up to you has this phenomena going on with it that is, I don't know enough about it, I guess, to know whether it's completely invulnerable and omnipotent and whatever, but there's this thing to deal with that you're like constantly just devising a way to survive its existence. You can't like affect it in any way. And, on top of, again, just the radius loop, and then the enemies are harder and more and whatever. And like all this fucking shit going on. And like, yeah, I mean, I am just out for like, these missions are like, 2.5, 3 hours real world time. I am out like just fucking hunkered down in bunkers and going from building to building and like trying to find sniper shit and like, just that's so intense, involved and tactical and again in VR, with again perfect gun mechanics. It's such a fucking great game and so goddamn good. I don't want to say I can't wait to get back to it because I would rather be in Subnautica, but I will be fine when I do have to make that choice. So that's still cooking, and yeah, I mean I did nothing else, of course, because just nothing but Subnautica. So. Chivo Hunt stuff, all fucking having nothing. No Dragon Warrior 2, no Mario Sunshine, no Metroid Prime, no SNES SimCity, too much Radius and Subnautica, so none of that's gone on. And the last thing is X-Men Quest. I cashed out, bro. I had a technology blip. Like there was like my piracy website got wonky on one of the issues, and I didn't care enough to try to rectify it after it went sideways the one time I was trying to read it. And I think it's time to end this endeavor. I think I'm done. Like it's like as soon as I got past that exact, basically Fatal Attraction. As soon as I got past that, like my interest
level, what you were talking about,
yeah. Right? Exactly, the whole point of the whole thing, right? Just my interest level just plummeted, and yeah, I could see it happen too. Like I said, the art style already different, and like that art style, I don't know, I wish I had the language to explain it, but or even just to make it make it make sense to myself in words, just to give me whatever peace of mind of how to like rationalize why I don't like it. I wish I had that ability, but something about it just grinds my gears, and it just looks goofy, and I don't like it. And that on top of, again, the complete lack of familiarity with the stories, I could not believe how it made me feel. And yeah, again, maybe I'll come back to it after a reprieve, but again, it was starting to feel like work anyways. And
fair enough. You don't want that.
Right. That was enough to get me off of it. So much for that. All quests come to an end, Jay.